Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday morning yoga therapy. Today we are working with the upper back, neck, and shoulders, as well as the spiritual heart. The image of this from yoga is two triangles, one facing up and the other facing down. It creates a Star of David image. It's called a yantra, and it's from ancient India as well. And it represents that nexus point between the upper centers and the lower centers. So it's really the hub of our existence, spiritually and physically, right here at the heart. So inhale, bringing the arms at the sides, just finding that horizontal line across the heart center. And exhale, gathering it back in towards the center. Like bringing in the image of the sun. Seeing all those directions, the horizontal, the vertical, the lateral. As you exhale, if you like, adding a bend of the knee, nodding the head up and down. We're going to be bringing in the voice as well, because we're working with the throat chakra as well today. The ability to say no, to say yes, to have clear boundaries. We're bringing all that in today. You like adding a ha sound. You like bringing your arms higher and just see what that feels like in your neck and shoulders. You might feel some tension here. If that's not comfortable, keep it lower. And for some of you, even this shoulder height might be too much for your neck and shoulders. Just notice how that feels. You can take your arms lower. Creating that star. Big star we call the sun. Adding humming if you like Brahmari. That vibration in your body, in your throat, in your chest, in your gut. Do this in your own time, in your own breath pattern. So if my exhale's too long, just feel free to modify. You can also play with your palms facing down and see what that feels like in your shoulders when you come back to the center. You might cross your arms as an alternative. So you can play with that movement. Adding sound or not, any height that works for you. releasing. We're going to add Om. Inhale, bringing the arms up at the sides. And to your height, might not be all the way, depends on your neck and shoulders. And exhale through the center. Om is said to purify our conscious mind, our semi-conscious mind, our non-conscious mind, and that taking us to that silence beyond the Om. Om. It's ah, oo, and The ah part is the longest, oo is middle, and m the shortest. And that relates to the amount of cleansing we need at all those levels. Our conscious mind needs a lot of cleansing. We silence after the Om. Last time. Just standing tall, heart lifted, feet planted. Notice how you feel today. It's the quality of your breath, quality of your thoughts. How does your body feel this morning or this evening, depending on where you are? Can you feel your feet? We'll just come back to this many times during the practice, and this will be our moment of just checking in where we're at. And we're going to move into full Tadasana. We're going to do this with Nyasam. Most of you have done this, but I'm just going to repeat. At least one of you hasn't. So I'm going to go to the camera. It's the classical position for the hands. This is yoga for the hands. And it comes from counting, chanting. You take your thumb as you inhale, you bring your thumb up your first finger. And as you exhale, you bring your first finger down your thumb, and then you flick. And then you go to your middle finger, inhale, coming up the middle finger, and you press as hard as you can. That gets into all those meridian points, or we call them nadis in yoga. And exhale, the middle finger down the thumb and flick. And next one, thumb up the ring finger. So this one you start to really feel the yoga of this. If you're not used to doing this, it's like, oh, it's getting a little tricky. And exhale, the ring finger down, thumb, flick, and little finger, inhale, thumb up the little finger, and little finger down the thumb, flick. It's called Nyasam. Alternatively, that feels too much. You can just do this. You can press your fingertips on each breath. So you go into a position, hold, 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 or any of the joints. You can count this way as well, down the joints, okay? All right, we do this for counting pranayama, chanting. Before they had malas, beads that they counted, the yogis used their hands. So just remind some of you how that works. You can make a spiral, and it's 12, okay? Or you can count up and down fingers. All right, so we're gonna inhale. We're gonna do that in Nyasam. So I'll remind you, inhale, thumb going up the index finger as you come up. Now your arms will go to whatever height feels good for your neck and shoulders. And exhale, coming down. So the fingers now going down the thumb. And at the end of the exhale, you flick. We're going to do 2 rounds of this, so it'll be 8 times. Middle finger, inhale, thumb up. Press as hard as you can. This affects the neck and shoulders, the nerves into the neck and shoulders. This is yogic nerve flossing. Before the physios figured it out, the yogis were doing it. Exhale, at least Krishnamacharya, he tended to integrate these ancient practices into the movement practice. Ring finger, inhale, thumb up. And exhale, finger down, the thumb. The end of the exhale, during that pause, you flick. And little finger, inhale. Thumb up the little finger, timing it with your breath. That takes concentration. And exhale, little finger down the thumb. Flick. Just take a break. You might be feeling that. This one is my teacher, VG, who's in her 70s. She's like, you must do this as you age because it will help with arthritis in the hands. And I'm starting to experience a little bit of that myself in my 50s, and I'm upping my nyasam. Let's do the next one. Inhale. So thumb up the index finger, pressing as hard as you can. Exhale, index finger down the thumb. Flick. Middle finger. Inhale up. Exhale down. Now I'm focusing on the floor ahead of me for balance. Adjust that for your neck and shoulders, where you focus. Inhale, thumb up, ring finger. Exhale, ring finger down thumb. Flick, and little finger, thumb up. And little finger down, thumb. Also use these exercises for Parkinson's disease, other conditions where the hands are affected, trembling or other gripping. Just notice how you feel. Shake your hands if you like. Then we're going to go into a stay position where we interlock our fingers at the top if that's comfortable for you. I'm having my palms going to the ceiling. As I exhale, I'm bringing my heels down, stretching my arms up. Feel that stretch wherever it is for you, your wrists, your fingers, your upper back. Inhale, coming up. Really stretching those fingers. We often ignore our fingers. And exhale, coming down. And if you lose your balance, no problem, just do a little walk like I just did. Inhale, coming up. You can also spread your fingers apart as you come up. That might feel good for your hands to really stretch them apart, interlock, stretch up. Exhale, heels coming down, palms coming to the sky. Feel that stretch through the upper body, the hands, the wrists. Inhale, coming up. My chin is in, Jalandhara Bandha, that chin locked if it's comfortable for your neck. Exhale, coming down. Let's keep this going. You do this in your own timing or with me. Inhale. Exhale, heels down. Inhale. Exhale. Try to time your arms coming down with your heels. Take a pause after exhale. This makes it more mindful. One more time. Exhale, heels down, stretch those hands up. Spread those fingers apart. Inhale up. And exhale down. Hands at the heart. And just notice how you feel. Just let your heart rate come down. We're going to come back to some Tadasana-s. Tadasana and Warrior, we do a lot of neck shoulder stuff. So we're going to go into Warrior. I've got a chair here that I'll use later. For now, I'm not going to use the chair. I'm going to bring my left foot forward, my right foot turned out, heel to heel alignment approximately. You can have a longer stance and a wider stance according to you, okay? According to your hips. It's really comfort of your knees, comfort of your hips. Your back foot, that little toe side coming to the ground. So you're not pronating with that back foot. It will tend to pronate for most of us, especially if you have tighter calves like I do. It'll be like, oh, I have to really feel that little toe side. Just finding that warrior. Now, inhale, bring your arms to the sides. Now notice like we did earlier in Tadasana, whether you want to have your palms up and thumbs back or palms down. Just see which one feels better for you. So make a choice on that. It depends on the day. And then as we exhale, we're going to give ourselves a hug. Try to bring your upper back back. Inhale. And also have your thumbs pointing up. That sometimes feels really good for the shoulders. And exhale, upper back back. So you can do it this way, or if you want to add a little bit more, coming forward as you inhale in a nice long line and just lifting the upper back, neck, and shoulders. That intensifies the work in the upper back. And exhale. So make a choice on that according to how it feels. So you're isolating the upper back by lengthening the lower back. Last time. And stepping back, finding your samastiti. Bring your right foot forward, left foot turned out, heel to heel alignment. Back foot, feel a little toe side, front foot, knee tracking over second toe. Finding your width, your length that works for you. Know when you find it. When you're ready, starting the arm movement, have your torso straight up to the sky or tilt it forward, or you can do a combo like I'm going to show. Exhale, round your spine. I'm changing the crossing of my arms each time to work my shoulders differently, but also my brain. So just doing that, it's quite challenging for the brain because it will want to just save energy and do the same thing every time. So you're always trying to break that automatic process that the brain goes into to save cognitive energy. Let's just do one more and we'll start bringing it forward. Now your head, you don't want to hang your head back. You want it in line with your upper back. But you can look up. You don't want to hinge in the cervical spine. Inhale, let's go forward. So you don't want to just hang your head back on one vertebrae because that could lead to problems later on. Wear and tear kinds of issues. Exhale. But by lifting the head, it does allow you to get more stretch in the upper back. So just notice that by lifting the head slightly, if that works for you. Get a bit more stretch in your upper back. Let's do one more time. Bend the knee, back, find your samastiti. And I'm guessing you're feeling one foot more than the other right now. So you're probably feeling your right foot more than the left right now. Just notice that. We're going to even them out now. We're going to inhale. We're going to bring our arms up. We're going to go Uttanasana. Lots of side movement today. This is upper back, neck, and shoulders. And down the front, we're going to do that Om. And inhale coming up. And you can always do this to the chair or just come with your arms to your thighs. Bend your knees or have them straight. I usually start with bent knees just to warm up the back and the legs. Instead of Om, you can always do that humming if you prefer. You can do the Brahmari. Let's just do 3 of those. See which one you prefer. Sometimes I really get more out of that Brahmari when my mind is jumping around. Just staying in your forward bend. It's not comfortable. Bend your knees. Use a chair. Use the countertop. If you want to work the upper back in Uttanasana, place your hands on the floor or on blocks, or use your fingertips. Inhale, lift just the chest. And then exhale, you're going to lengthen the lower back and come forward. And maybe bend your knees. Inhale, lift the chest, lengthen the upper back. Exhale, keep the length in the lower back as you come forward. Last time, it's called Sthiti. When you're ready, bring your hands up the front legs, inhale halfway, exhale, stay. Inhale the rest of the way. And come to the center. Now, perhaps notice your weight is on both feet. Maybe not yet, just notice that. All right, we're going to do another round of Tadasana. Feet together or apart, your choice. Inhale, arms coming up. You're going to cross your elbows. You're going to cross your arms, hold your hands on opposite elbows there. That makes more sense. Inhale here. Exhale, you're going to drop your shoulder blades down. Inhale. Release that. Your shoulder blades are going to go up, and exhale, you're going to bend your elbows and come down. Now you could do this coming up onto the toes if this does not feel challenging enough. I'll show that. Inhale, coming up. If you can think to do it, cross your arms the opposite way. Exhale, drop your shoulder blades as your heels come down. Inhale, shoulder blades coming up, and exhale, shoulders coming down as you bend the elbows and feel those shoulder blades, trapezius muscles working. Just keep this going in your own timing. Put your mind, when you're bringing your shoulders down, put your mind on the shoulder that's a little more sticky if you have one, an old rotator cuff injury, for example, or an active one. The last time I activated my old rotator cuff injury, my teacher Sridhar gave me this, and I was very surprised how effective it was. Got me out of pain. Working neck and shoulders, we're opening the front body, pectorals. And we're strengthening the upper back body. The muscles that move those shoulder blades up and down, we're working with that right now. And the traps, trapezius, big diamond on our upper back. I guess it's more of a triangle, actually. Oh, yeah, that's more of a triangle. It's a fair amount of work. You might be getting a bit tired in your shoulders. It's quite a bit of work. Last one. For someone who lifts weights and does that kind of work, it's always amazing to do something like this and realize, oh, I have to get into those little muscles, those little stabilizing muscles, not just the big ones, just the biceps and the triceps and the deltoids. You need to get into those rhomboids, for example. Okay, and release. Notice how you feel, probably a lot of energy in your upper back right now. Let's do some side bends coming out of that. So inhale, coming up, we're going to cross the elbows, come up and onto your toes or not. Exhale, coming to one side. You can keep on your toes for fun, or you can come down at the end and go into your lower back by bringing the hip out, the opposite hip. Some of you, that's an important stretch. So just keep this going. This is upper back and maybe lower back, if you put your mind there. Just keep going side to side. This position of the arms is not comfortable. The hands can be on top of the head. The arms could be at the sides. So just notice you might feel you need a bit of a change. Yes, and some of you are adding this position that we've worked on. So pick whatever one works better for your body. Right now, you've done a lot of variations in class, so just deciding. today, what works best? So as teachers, it's always important to remember all those variations. We tend to teach the ones that we like, but it's important to allow your students to explore and let them teach you what they like, what works for them. And stay very, very curious at all times. And why is that? I'm just finishing up. And notice how you feel. All right, lots of standing work today. We're going to go back to warriors. So, feet together at the back of your mat. That's comfortable. Stepping your left foot forward. Your right foot turns out. Bending that front knee over second toe. The knee can go as far as your toes. That works for your knee. Just assess that. We're going to do this Kerala warrior that I learned from Gary Krasow many years ago in Maui. So you're going to create fists, I'll show you this way, with your hands and draw your elbows back. So this is apparently from the Kerala martial arts that we got our Dharmapatrasana. Now as you exhale, I've added this piece for neck and shoulders. You're going to press away, and you could do this with your hands at the wall. You could also interlock your fingers, which I really like for upper back, neck, and shoulders, and hands. And then inhale, draw in. So another way I use this is for teaching boundaries. So what do you want to say no to? So in your head, you can say, I say no to fill in the blank. And what do you say yes to? I say yes to fill in the blank. Related to chapter 112 of the Yoga Sutras, what do you let in? And what do you say no to? What you practice, and what do you let go of? And you need to do both for a balanced practice. And this is very much the practice of life. Just drawing that in. I say yes to fill in the blank. I say no to. Fill in the blank. We're going to step back and do the other side. These cognitive pieces, you can always drop them if they don't work for you. If you just want to have a somatic experience, your body will lead you to all sorts of wisdom. Inhale, bending that front knee, drawing the fists in and elbows really back. Lift the chest a lot. This is definitely a power pose. And exhale. So it's International Women's Day, and I'm doing this one.
International Women's Day is today.
Oh, my watch just said it. That's funny. And that's hilarious. And I'm doing this in honor of all the women who have come before me in my lineage and the world lineage, who have said no to all sorts of injustices and have said yes to equality, freedom, justice, fairness, equity. So I just thought I would bring that in today. You can have your personal experience of that. And at some point, this is a human experience. What do we say yes to and what do we say no to? And physically, this is really working upper back, neck, and shoulders, coming back. And physiologically and psychologically, we know these power poses make us feel more empowered. There's research on this. Thought it was to do with testosterone levels going up, but that's been somewhat debunked. So we don't know how it works physiologically, but we know psychologically reported feelings of being more empowered having done those kinds of poses. So just notice how you feel in your body. You might feel all this expansiveness in the heart. Place your hands, if you like, on your heart center. Just check in. How do I feel in my heart? You might say to yourself, I am safe. I'm resourced. I am empowered. Just pressing into the heart can help when it's feeling a bit vulnerable or unsafe. You can just hold your heart. Do this at any time. Finding your feet, finding your strength, and then acting from that place. Kriya Yoga. Right. So on to more empowerment. We're just going to do a counter pose and then we're going to move into our side planks. I want you to bring your hands to your chair or to the counter, stool, table, step back. You're going to do a downward facing dog at the chair. You could do a downward facing dog itself if you prefer. Probably want another mat if you're doing a full downward facing dog. Just feel that stretch under the armpits and the lower back. Now, as we inhale, I invite you to lift up, look forward, press your hands down. See what that feels like in your upper back, neck, and shoulders. And exhale, bend your knees and nod your head in towards your heart. Inhale, nod your head up and press your hands down. And exhale, nod your head in. And bend your knees. Just keep this going your own timing. Some of you might want to add upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Just going to start with this. You know, you have one shoulder that's higher than the other. You can try bringing one hand forward so that shoulder that's higher, so my right shoulder is higher and I'm bringing my left hand forward just to give a little bit more stretch to my left side, which tends to get pain in my shoulder all the way to my wrist because of that difference. It's going to be a really helpful exercise. You can also try bringing your left foot back. Now you might be doing this on the right side, so I'm showing left, but you might be doing right if it's your right arm. Okay, so I'm going to go into up dog, down dog. You can keep playing with that if you like, or towards a full plank. So starting with plank here at the chair, and maybe going through that plank, if it's comfortable, to an upward facing dog, lifting away from the chair. Lifting, bringing the hips through, exhale, coming back. So I'm holding the sides of the chair, so I fairly wide shoulders. You might have your hands on your chair if you're more narrow in your shoulders, so just adapt that to your personal anatomy. You're all individual in our anatomy as well. If this is hurting your wrists, just do the first variation where you're inhale, looking up, exhale, rooting back, okay? So no need to do this if it's hurting your wrists. It depends on the day. Today it's just on the edge. So I'm just gonna do a few. Take a break. Definitely do this on the floor if you prefer. I'm now in the chair down dog, just resting. Play with having one arm forward again if you've got some compression on one side. When you're ready, coming out of that, we're going to try wall plank, side plank, and then we're going to move to the chair floor. So I've got, just going to cue it the way I am. I've got one hand on the wall. I'm not going to say which one, it might confuse you. So one hand on the wall and the other is going to come up. And I'm going into that side bend and release. So the further away I bring my feet, the harder it is, the closer, the easier. And if you like, you can just stay here. You can align your shoulders. You can play with your hand, turning it out, having it pointing straight up if it's classical or even in. And that will affect the shoulder and how it feels in the wrist. Some of you might want to add a leg. So inhale and exhale, bring the leg up, hand down. You could do that the opposite way too, but I like this way. So that's bringing the hip into it if you want, which you can also do in Vashisthasana side plank on the floor. Could do this with a fist at the wall if this is hurting your wrist. Let's just do one more and we're going to switch sides. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to go to my other wall here. This is my hard side. That's what I'm doing today. Yeah. So it depends on the day. Some days I cannot do this very well, but they seem to be okay. I have to adjust that hand. Inhale. And exhale, bringing the leg up. Notice the difference in the hips. So this one's harder on my arm, but easier on my hip. Just to notice those differences. Make it harder. Making the feet further away. Inhale, side stretch, exhale, leg up, arm down. Okay, coming out of that. So you can keep that going on both sides. It's fairly gentle. I think all of you were able to do that. If you want to make it harder, I'll break this up a little bit more. You can try coming to the chair. Got the step in my Sunday class where you come onto your knees. So this is probably actually even easier than the wall version, just coming up. This, inhale, exhale, release, like that. Now, if you want to make it harder still, start adding the legs. So you start with one leg, extend it. You can do both. And if you're doing that, this, all versions. Just stay there and breathe or add that side stretch, which I like to do. Inhale, exhale, release. You can add the leg. And you could do this on the floor. I'm not adding the leg. My body's saying, forget that. Okay, I'll do it just once. There we go. All right, other side. So other side, you can go through this plank.
with your arms like this. You could be doing this with your arm. I forgot to show that. So you could be doing it this way. This is actually easier in terms of anatomy. So step one here, on your knees. Step two, show on this side, is like this. I can't do that very long. And step three, or if you have a wrist issue like I do, then go on your forearm. See if you can extend those legs. Maybe take the top leg in front. Careful of your shoulders. Press away from the chair. Adjust this to the strength of your shoulder. Really strengthening for the side body and for the core and for the shoulder. And when you've had enough, coming into your downward facing dog, have a chair or on the floor. If you like adding that neck movement or a full up dog, down dog, your choice. You might feel, because you've put a lot of heat in your shoulders, that you have more stretch now. Yeah, that's great. Some of you are just doing forward bend. You feel complete. Okay, we're doing well. Good news. When you take that chair, and we're going to actually sit in it, believe it or not. You could do this seated on the floor if you prefer, cross-legged. And then show them the chair. If you're more petite, put something under your feet, like these blocks. Or if you have longer legs, if you're taller, you can sit on something to bring your height up. You're sitting at the end of the chair. So don't lean back. Students always do this when I give them a chair. It's like, no, that's not what we do in yoga. So yeah, people always make fun of me at work because they come into my office and I'm like this. Too many years of training. All right, so inhale, arms coming up. It means you're working your core as you do your office work, so it's not a bad thing. Exhale, coming to your left, I'm going to mirror. You could have a block between your legs. Just going side to side. So I'm going to show that actually. Block or bolster between the legs. Or pillow, just side to side. So we're separating upper back from lower back here through a twist. So start off really gently. Just bring that backhand to the side of the chair. After doing around 4 rounds, we're going to stay. And notice which side you can twist to more easily. In my body, it's super obvious because of my scoliosis. It's like, wow. So this can be very helpful if you have differences between which side you can twist. Now, stay in the position. So your hand, the easiest position is this is your right hand across, touching your left thigh. And then the back hand, that would be your left hand on the outside of the chair, or you can start taking that back hand to the middle of the chair, depending on how your chair is. You can hold on to a rung, or that's feeling really good for me today, holding on to one of those rungs in the chair. or the other side of the chair. That's more intense, be careful. You could injure yourself if you overstretch here. Inhale, untwist the head. Feel that in the neck and shoulders and the throat. Exhale, twisting back. This neck movement is also said to help with thyroid conditions. So I do find that often people who have neck shoulder issues often also have thyroid conditions. That's not always the case, but let's put it this way. Someone who has a thyroid condition often also has neck shoulder issues. I've noted that in my practice. I've seen some research that says this kind of movement can help regulate hypo or hyperthyroidism. So it's kind of interesting. With the Udana Vayu at the throat. And when you're ready, switching sides, just notice that on that whole left side of your body. Inhale, arms sides, and exhale other ways. So this seems like it would be very simple, but it's actually not. This is one that I use a lot when I'm doing a lot of writing. It's a counter. Inhale, untwist, that backhand placing it where is comfortable. Same side you're on or towards the center or the other side of the chair. Exhale, draw the belly in. Squeeze that back shoulder blade. Feel the movement in that back shoulder as you do this. Really working with the neck also. You've done around 6 rounds, just finishing up. I'm just going to end with the chair today. We're going to do some pranayama from here after we do a forward bend. So I'm going to release that block. I'm going to do chair forward bend, which is also quite surprising how it works. Inhale, coming up. If you're on the floor, you can do Paschimottanasana. Seated forward bend, stretching your legs out. Yeah, there you go. So inhale up and down, or you might just want to stay. So my back is saying just stay because it wants a big stretch. I'll remove my block. So this pose I find really gives a lot of traction in the lower back and upper back. More than when I sit on the floor or stand. So keep that in mind. If you have stenosis, degenerative disc disease in the lower back, and it's also giving you traction in the upper back. If you want to work the upper back a bit more, inhale, look up, exhale, forward bend, or if you want to work on strengthening and opening, fold those elbows, inhale, come halfway up, exhale, keep that length of the belly on the thighs, exhale, forward. Show that side. And just stay in your forward bend. We're going to end with some pranayama today, working with the neck and shoulders and pranayama. You can do this seated on the floor, cross-legged if you prefer. You can inhale through the tongue or through the teeth as you lift your head up. So let's show a side view for that. You can also draw your shoulders back to add a bit more of that movement we worked on in warrior earlier. Exhale, rounding. So that's an add-on. Exhale through your nose, inhale through tongue, teeth. Shitali or Sitkari pranayama. I always feel like a hummingbird when I do this. Little hummingbird, tongue. So classically, you're not adding this neck shoulder piece, but I'm doing this for therapeutic purposes. And keep that going, or if you want to add a twist, you come to your left side and you do the same thing. Any ratio you like. This is for cooling. This is also detoxifying for the liver. This is used for headaches, post-concussion syndrome. Inhale 4 to 12 seconds, exhale the same. You always have that block between the thighs to help stabilize the lower back and hips. Going to the other side, having done at least 6. Again, I'm moving the arms back as I inhale and forward as I exhale, just to add a bit more for my upper back, neck, and shoulders. And coming back to the center, hands at the heart. Inhale, arms at the sides, visualizing that radiant sun. Hands to the heart. The hands here. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari, Hi. Stay. Namaskaram. As I bow to that, you, which is the same as that in me, the same as that in all. Honoring those who have come before us, women in particular today. Perhaps of some women in your life who have been great mentors. Being more empowered, more full, more resourced. Thank you.